The broken spirit have been very loud today, my friends. My name is Carrie. This is Love Yourself, Not a Loser, the podcast. And I want my podcast to be professional. I want I want all these things. But the truth is, if I wait for those things to come together, I may never have the podcast, right? So thank you for tuning in. Let's see where we go. Let's see where we grow. I've done this like a few other times. One time with a friend, one time kind of on my own. Sorry, I just ate an English muffin. We're keeping it all the way real here at Carrie Scott. We want to talk today about the broken spirit because, they are loud sometimes. Okay. You could have $1 billion in the bank. You could have, a beautiful family. You can have plenty, and you can still be poor because you're poor in spirit, right? This is how I feel, at least. And, a tall tale sign of this in someone is a complainer. If someone is perpetually complaining or, overly, responsible. I've got so many things. I'm so important. If somebody is like this in your world, that's a pretty good indicator that they are kind of spiritually sick. Spiritually well people typically run around lifting others up. Spiritually well people, sing, they're light, they laugh, they dance, and, a lot of those people, myself included, don't have much coin in the bank, right? Which leads me to my next little point here, self-love. It's like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what toys you have. It doesn't matter what equipment you have. It doesn't matter which set or lighting or, what car you drive or how many homes you have. If you're ugly in spirit, you're just ugly. Like, that's just it, right? You don't have it together. And, I think we're really in a place right now in our time, in our society, right? Where people are waking up. And, I talk a lot on my platforms about spiritual warfare. And today, it's like exactly what I mean by this. So I'm a Facebook comedian and clown. I put on my status, someone send me $188 so I can upgrade my phone. Now, mind you, this is a joke. Like, I'm not actually thinking, hoping that someone's going to send me $188. Matter of fact, I write the message and then I go to work, right? My work, which is making content, right? I do TikTok Go videos, which pay commissions. So thank you to those who repost and share and support those, because that really does help me to earn income. And, people are they're so jealous is really kind of what it boils down to, because, I firmly believe that we attract, there goes my broken air fryer. We attract, what it is that we experience. And, this is a tough reality for me, actually, because, if that is true, why am I not quite where I want to be? I also believe that things can coexist. So I do believe that you can get to where you're going, and sometimes you need the experience behind it. So a lot of my struggle, well, at least I tell myself this, it makes my struggle easier. You're preparing for something. But really having positivity through any situation is a lot better. I mean, think about it like this. If you're going to take a shit, right? You can do that with a frown on your face, or you can do it with a smile, but either way, you're going to take that shit, right? So this is just kind of how I feel about, the self-love stuff. When you love yourself, when you care for yourself, when you don't really worry what the other people say or think, right? You get sent money. I'm so sorry to say it, but the post earned me money. So point is proven, right? And, I didn't have to do anything for this money. Like, this person just genuinely wanted to be nice. I don't know this person. They live hours and hours and hours away, but this is kind of the parasocial relationships we're entering, in this new society. And, I'm not to say I'm a trendsetter or anything, but kind of, right? I know that there are some who have and enjoy to give, right? And instead of, feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. Oh my gosh, I would be so embarrassed to say, I don't have this. Let the givers give. Let the givers give. How many times have I done something for somebody and it feels good to do it. It fills my cup, it warms my soul, and it actually helps me ascend, right? Who am I to block that blessing from somebody? If they want to give their funds, give it, right? Okay. Now, that being said, it's not like you need to be taking advantage of people, but, people hear one thing and instead of getting to know it, they judge it immediately, and they're right? So anyways, I want to say this: self-love is why those things don't bother me, because I know who I am, right? The people around me in real life know who I am, right? And so, am I the wealthiest woman in America? No. But if you ask me to do something, I'm going to do it. You can count on me, and I'm helpful, right? And kind. So let's just try, y'all, to not be broke in spirit today. Let's just try to dive into more self-love. I was instantly irritated upon awakening today, and sometimes it'd be like that, right? So, this is what I also know, not every day is sunshine and rainbows, right? You can't have light without dark. So, I almost welcome a little bit the bad experiences sometimes, because I know that there is reward on the other side of that experience, even if it's just in the form of lessons. So I'm excited to see where my little old podcast will take me. Thank you so much for following on YouTube. Thank you so much for following on TikTok. Thank you so much for following on Facebook, Instagram. I mean, I don't really do Instagram, but what I've found is that if I post from Instagram and then it goes to Facebook, it almost helps me a little bit on Facebook. So that's my kind of shtick there. TikTok live shows, I'm so grateful school's going to be starting, because, it's really tough to say that you're going to do something, at this time every single time when there are other moving parts. So to have like a space and time opened up is a good thing. I do a lot. Carrie Scott does a lot. That's what I call myself. I'm going to see Kanye West at the end of the month. I can't wait. So I think, this month, maybe we'll just kind of make a few of these little episodes. Maybe I'll try to be a little more professional for you next time. But I know this, I feel always better after venting on the internet. I know the human experience is meant to be shared, and love yourself, not a loser. Okay, bye.